What's up, guys? Welcome back to Tech Tuesday.
Or Tech Wednesday,
Sure.
who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, apps like Tinder, Bumble, Grindr, and so on have changed dating dramatically in just a few short years by connecting complete strangers just based off of a simple interface where you swipe right if you want to bang the other person, and if they feel the same way about you, you get to bang. Or something like that. I'm old.
Yeah. Anyways, it was only a matter of time before this simple and addictive yes or no approach bled over into other aspects of our lives. And now, thanks to a new app called Rumblr, smartphone users can use the same simple interface that they've been using to find dates to find people to fight with.
Kind of. I mean, we'll get to that later. But yes, Rumblr bills itself as Tinder for brawling. So if you're just one of those guys who loves getting in fights with strangers and you want a much more efficient means of finding someone who's willing to fight you, soon all you'll have to do is create a Rumblr account and start swiping left or right depending on whether you want to punch that person in the face.
Yeah, if one of your picks decides they want to fight you back, then it's a match. And then it's time for some pre-fight trash talk in the chat section while you decide whether to schedule the fight or, quote, pussy out.
I love that button.
Yeah.
Pussy out.
Yeah.
It's even got a map view that's very similar to Uber's map view, except instead of seeing nearby drivers, you see nearby fights taking place. And instead of choosing between like UberX, Uberpool, Uber Black, you choose between normal Rumbler, Rumbler Her for girl-on-girl fights, and Rumbler Group for the ultimate in team-based violence.
I can't see how that would go wrong at all.
No.
Now, this is totally insane, but hey, that's just the times we live in, right? Only a few weeks ago, we were reporting on People, that app that was trying to be Yelp, but rating people, basically.
Yeah.
So, seems like no matter how ridiculous or terrible the idea, there is pretty much an app for that.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
Except, turns out they got us.
They got us.
Rumbler is a hoax, although it's a great hoax because it was just believable enough to seem possible and just ridiculous enough to end up in the news. If you go to Rumbler's website and go through the whole sign-up process, you'll quickly realize that you're actually chatting with bots, and eventually it takes you to this screen.
I like to think that a couple people at least were like, got all the way through and they're like, wait a second, I was hoping to really fight someone.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, the page says that Rumblr was kind of a joke project that a young group of creative consultants created for their new agency's portfolio. When it took off in the news, they used that as an opportunity to see how far they could go using their marketing skills to promote a totally fake product, talking to news outlets and growing Rumblr's social media presence.
Yeah, they said they were like replying to thousands of tweets, like they created a Twitter profile out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's fucking genius. These guys show that they're not only good at marketing, but that they can successfully market a product that doesn't even exist.
And is a terrible idea.
Anyway, at the end of their big reveal, they write, "We understand that some of you were genuinely looking forward to using an app like Rumblr, and we're sorry to disappoint. However, if you still are truly wishing to release some built-up angst, consider fighting more pressing issues such as gang violence, domestic abuse, and at-risk youth culture." And they provide links to 3 organizations that do just
Oh, this would have been great for gang wars. You could schedule them. Everyone picks a side. You know where you're staying. You could probably build the outline. Guys, come over this thing. Stab time.
It's, you know, not a bad idea.
Yeah, it would make it very efficient, the whole process.
Yeah, and no collateral damage.
Yeah. Everyone leave this area at this exact time. But speaking of making a difference in the world, last week Bob Ross managed to single-handedly change the Twitch community 20 years after his own untimely death, when Twitch aired 8.5 straight days of his Joy of Painting TV show.
And when the final hour of that Joy of Painting marathon on Twitch came last week, you could feel the undeniable sense of depression hitting users across the internet. The stream, which seemingly brought together the entire internet to a unique place of calm and happiness, regardless of the toxicity some users may normally toss around, was going to come to an end.
Yeah, but when the last moments of the last episode aired and the entire chat was spammed with hashtag "Thank you, Bob," we saw a glimmer of hope. A countdown, which was set to expire in 3 days. Well, what could it possibly mean? Was his son Steve Ross going to come back from the shadows and create a new show on Twitch? Was it just another marketing ploy for Fallout 4? Did they actually bring Bob Ross himself back from the dead to make him paint happy little trees live on a website until the end of time?
Well, when the countdown finally reached 0, we got our answer. And you know what? It's almost as good as bringing him back from the dead, because moving forward, every Monday on Bob Ross's Twitch channel, you can watch an entire season of The Joy of Painting, front to back, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific and continuing on until 9 p.m. Pacific.
And if you hadn't realized by the fact that it took them over 8 days to stream every episode back to back, there are a lot of seasons of The Joy of Painting, and Twitch is saying that there won't be a single rerun for at least 7 months, which is great news and is definitely going to become a weekly event, at least in my household.
It's a good thing we don't have any shows on Monday because no one would watch them.
Yeah.
They're all tuned into Bob.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we love this idea. So.
Yeah, anyway, in addition to all that, since the first attempt was such a massive success, every year to commemorate Bob Ross's birthday, Twitch will be repeating the non-stop 8-day marathon stream, which pulled in an astonishing 5.6 million unique viewers this year and saw concurrent live viewer numbers as high as almost 200,000, with a typical average being around 40 to 50,000.
Hashtag thank you, Bob, and thank you, Twitch.
Yeah.
They're like completely listening to the community, and everyone just like
He
gathered
changed
around this.
Twitch for the better.
Yeah.
He never even lived long enough to know what a Twitch was.
Exactly. Just he thought the Twitch was a little wrist movement you did
Yeah.
to get those little trees looking real special.
No, he left that as a little message.
Yeah. He noticed us! Yeah, I love that. But since we hit you with some positive news, it's time to drop some bullshit on you because you're not getting off that easy. And if you want to watch all those Bob Ross streams and Comcast is your ISP, you might be facing some pretty hefty charges. And Comcast has been straight up lying about why they would enforce such a thing.
So let's talk about data caps for a second.
I know we've done this before, but
A lot.
It's always good to read.
So you know, there are those arbitrary numbers that the internet service providers set as a finish line for your monthly consumption. Sometimes it's 300 gigs, sometimes it's 500 gigs. If you live in Australia, we're pretty sure you get something like 200 megabytes, but whatever.
Yeah, sorry.
When you hit those caps, the ISP can either slow down your service, stop your service, or charge you just an exorbitant amount of money per gigabyte for going over. It's stupid, and absolutely no one likes it except for people who own ISPs and make money.
Yeah. Well, do you remember when Comcast actually tried to justify its own ridiculous data caps by saying that they were in place because, quote, data hogs were clogging up its network and that keeping everyone under a certain amount would free up the whole thing?
Sure.
Well, turns out that they flat out lied.
Yes, thanks to some leaked documents from Comcast Public Relations, we can see just how they handle people questioning the data caps usage of streaming services and how Comcast is lying to you about congestion.
Yeah, in the documents, the approved language for speaking to customers about the data caps is,
They exist for fairness and providing a more flexible policy to our customers.
and then the document continues to include what not to say to customers.
The program is about congestion management. It's not.
Yeah, they put that little thing in there and I think it's not about that, so don't tell them that it's about that. So now that that's cleared up, even though most people in the tech community have known about this for years, let's talk about why this sucks. Again.
Let's dust off this old fucking worthless turd. Most of these data caps start around 300 gigs. Again, sorry to people who don't live in America and get a lot less than this. We're sorry. But let's say you have that one. Most HD streaming apps use around 3 gigabytes every hour, not to mention any other downloads, web browsing, YouTubing, or anything else you might be doing. That shit adds up really quick.
Yeah.
Now think about how one modern video game usually comes in around 50 to 100 gigs. You could potentially use a third of your monthly internet service in one day downloading a PC game, or even just the updates that you have to get, like, oh, hard copy, doesn't matter.
Oh, 9 gigs, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing's insane. And there's more bad news. These caps are expanding, and Comcast is set to test out these caps in a ton of new markets very soon.
Yeah, so if you live in Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, or Virginia, be alert about these changes and start praying for Lord Google to swoop in and bless your town with some Google Fiber. Anyway, guys, we got a couple cool tech videos for you guys this week before we close out, and they both involve jetpacks.
Yes, jetpacks, the technology that science fiction promised us for decades, they're actually here. As long as you're rich, you know how to fly an aircraft, and are willing to assume the risk of basically flying around with a bomb strapped to your back.
Sure.
Why not?
So our first video comes to us from David Mayman, the CEO of Jetpack Aviation from here in the US, and it features him effortlessly flying around in his company's JB9 jetpack all around New York City's Statue of Liberty. It looks super fun. I'd love to do that. But let's go check in with Eve Rossi, aka Jetman, over in Dubai.
This man is always doing impressive stuff. All right, yeah, that looks a whole lot more fun and a whole lot more dangerous. So there's Rossi, who we've seen flying his jetpack over Dubai a few times before, except this time he brought a friend, and the two of them are flying right beside a goddamn Airbus A380 commercial jet.
Emirates Airlines.
That's insane.
They paid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's great. He gets to make these videos for free, basically, just by just being like, hey, I got a jetpack.
You want to film me?
Want to film me?
Yeah.
So anyway, what Rossi's jetpack lacks though, which Jetpack Aviation's JB9 has, is the ability to take off and land vertically. It's basically a jet-powered wingsuit.
Yeah.
Whereas the JB9 actually looks like the jetpacks from science fiction, minus speed and height though. So, I mean,
The
Two different
Rocketeer. You
things.
gotta get the Rocketeer one.
Yeah, maybe someday though. But let's just be glad about the fact that not one, but two different jetpacks, or at least approaches to jetpacks, actually exist today.
Yeah, screw hoverboards. Why don't you just fly?
Yeah.
We could fly to work.
I mean, even the first jetpack, like you're not the Rocketeer, but you just like,
Yeah,
that
sure.
looks fucking awesome.
They do. I want to do the one on water. They have those everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
now.
the water ones?
Yeah, that looks fun. Technically a jet of water, so it works. Anyway, guys, that's Tech Tuesday for this week. Let us know what you think about Bob Ross and what you think about data caps. Do you live in any of the areas that are experiencing this? And how do you cope with it? What do you do? Like, what do you do when you hit your
There's
cap?
nothing you can
Because they
do.
charge you afterwards a lot of money. They're just like,
Oh, what are you gonna
I'm
do?
sorry.
You're gonna go with a different service? Oh, we're out here in the middle of fucking nowhere. Sorry, guess
Yeah.
you better move.
yeah. Anyways, guys, we have some brand new content over here, including us taking a couple jabs at that whole Starbucks War on Christmas fiasco. So check that out. Check out our brand new podcast and also a new news dump or tugs. I don't know what we'll put there. Put something.